My trucking story part 2 coming up right after this. Welcome back, everybody. This is part 2 of my trucking career story. I wanted to get this out a couple weeks ago, but time and doing some other video stuff, didn't really have time to shoot this one. Because it's going to be a little bit longer probably than part 1 because of the longevity. I was at this company here 12 years, and that company was Epes Transport Systems Incorporated. They were out of Greensboro, North Carolina. And when I left Builders Transport there, I think I went home maybe a week, not even, and I already got the okay to go with Epes there. So I left home, drove my car over there to Greensboro, about 200 miles away, something like that, and did orientation there because since I lived close to our yard, or the Epes yard in Elm City, North Carolina, that was my home terminal. So they told me I would get a truck out of there. So I drove over to Greensboro and met everybody. Everybody's real nice, you know, and went through orientation, road test, physical, all that stuff. Passed all that, no problem. And went home, and a couple days later I called up dispatch, and they sent me over to Elm City to get my truck and bring it over there to Greensboro or something. I can't even remember, it's been so long, but I think my first load with Epes got kind of screwed up because I went somewhere around Charlotte, and I was supposed to get a load going up to Indianapolis or something, and something was wrong with the trailer. It just wouldn't hook to the truck, the fifth wheel, and I tried every direction, and I even tried to hook my truck up to an empty or another trailer, load trailer there, and hooked right up. So I don't know what was wrong with this trailer. It just wouldn't connect. So they sent me down somewhere else to get a load, and that load ended up going to Texas. So I was kind of shocked that my first load with Epes that hardly goes to Texas. I went to Texas, and that was the thing about Epes. They did a lot of Northeast stuff, and Northeast, Southeast, furthest west we used to go was probably out of North Carolina, was probably Indiana, Ohio. Let's go back to the truck. I picked up my first truck there in Elm City, North Carolina, at their yard, and man, you talk about when you knew. Now I don't know how a lot of these companies do it nowadays, but back in those days, that was 1998. The new people got all the old crappy equipment. And that truck I had, it was an old Freightliner or some kind of FLD or so. I can't remember the year, but it had to be late 80s, early 90s or something like that. It was in rough shape. Didn't have a whole lot of miles on it for a truck that old, but it was just like it was beat to death or something. I noticed the switches, there was these two little holes in the switch panel there. And you got to looking there, I seen on there, it said Jake brake, you know, stage 1, 2, 3 for the other switch. I said, where's the Jake brake? I said, it looks like they took the switches out. Well, they did take the switches out. They took the Jake brakes and everything out because something happened a couple years earlier where a driver was running around the yard empty or something and had his Jake brake on, making all kinds of noise, and the owner came out there and seen that, and right then he goes, take all the Jake brakes out of the trucks, and we're not ordering any more Jake brakes. So I went the first couple of years there at Epes. We didn't have any Jake brakes on the trucks, and we did a lot of mountain stuff, well, East Coast mountain stuff, you know, up down Fancy Gap and Black Mountain and Saluda Mountain and all that, and you really had to be careful that you didn't come up on the mountains too fast because you don't have a Jake brake. But everything worked out all right, and a lot of drivers complained about it, and they started ordering newer trucks and they all came with Jake brakes. Well, I don't know if it was Jake brake, but it was some type of engine brake anyway. So they got back into that. So that was pretty good. So it went pretty good there. We didn't, like I said, just mainly the southeast, northeast. I ran a couple trips. My first one to Texas, but most of the time it was, east of I-65 or something like that. I know we used to run tobacco out of North Carolina, which is a flue-cured tobacco. It's tobacco season starts at the end of summer. We used to run all that up into Virginia and Philip Morris all over North Carolina, and we load all that. And then when burley tobacco season started in Kentucky, Tennessee, we used to do all that and bring it back to the Carolinas to the tobacco processing plants and everything. They were big on that every year, so every year you knew you were going to be busy from about the end of summer up to about almost Christmas, Thanksgiving, something like that. And yeah, you stay busy doing that stuff. And see, about how many years did I have? 9 years, 8 years in. They asked me if I would be interested in training. I said, no. I don't know if I can put up with that. Somebody in the truck moving constantly. I said, well, answer me this question. If I do train, will we have to run the truck like a team, or will it actually be just run like a solo driver? It was no team with the trainer or trainee. It's going to be run like a solo truck. When the trainee's driving, the trainer will sit over there and vice versa. So somebody would always be in the front. And when it came time, when the irons were over for the day, 10 irons or whatever it was back then driving, he'd get the top bunk and I'd get the bottom bunk. And I did that for about, 2 years maybe, something like that. And it just got, I don't even think it was 2 years. I don't know. There was a lot of time there. I didn't even have a trainee for everybody in there. But I think, I was also authorized through the company there to give road tests to new drivers that were coming in, new hires that were coming into Epes. And if I was over at the yard on a Monday morning when all the new orientation people came in, and the regular road tester wasn't there, or they had a lot of people in class they wanted to get through there that day, at least get that part finished for the day, I would give road tests and all that. That was pretty fun. That was probably the best part about training right there, was doing that. It was go around and had a course there around Greensboro, ran a course around Greensboro, back to the yard, pass. They had the right hand turn, they had the train tracks, everything set up perfectly just for a road test. But I never had to fail anybody, thank goodness, so I was glad about that. And then back to the training part, they got there towards the end when I said I'm not going to train anymore, because they started running training trucks like team trucks. They had shifted some training people around and got some young people in there that didn't really know anything about trucking, and tried to run the place. And I just got where it was I didn't like it anymore. I said, well, this is my last trainee. I want to bring him in, and I said, I'm done training. What? Why? I told him, I said, I'm not running this training truck like a team truck. For once he can't learn anything if I'm back there sleeping, and I'm not going to sleep behind somebody that's training. That's not going to happen. And we were paid a set salary. The trainers were, if you had a student, whatever week that was, you got paid a certain salary for that week. So they're towards the end, they were trying to get all the money they could out of it and not worry about the training so much. I said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. That's a little too dangerous. I don't like that. And all that Northeast stuff, you had to really pay attention. The trainees had to pay attention up there, just New Jersey and all that, New Jersey Turnpike, and you got to really be on your toes. Of course, most of y'all know that already, so I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. And that was it. I just said, that's it. I'm tired of this, and start looking around. Well, let me back up a little bit again. I keep skipping stuff. This is another reason why I put this video off for a while. I want to make sure I would remember everything, because I shot it once and I left a lot of stuff out about the training and all that, so that's why I'm talking about that a lot. But it was a pretty good company. I can't complain a whole lot. We were home every weekend most of the time. That's why I went to Epes, because when I was at Builders Transport, we were home most weekends, so I got used to that. And I seen I get passed by Epes truck or something on the back of their trailers. They said home weekends, so I always had those in Epes in mind if something ever happened. So they were the first ones I called when I got home after quitting Builders Transport. And they hired me, so I can't complain. I'm not really complaining about the company. I had some good loads. A couple times I went from North Carolina. See, I went all the way out to the west coast of Canada, British Columbia. Where was that? Richmond, British Columbia. And one time I went from Greenville, North Carolina, which is over by the coast, up to Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'll get it right in a minute. A load of washing machines or appliances that came out of Greenville, North Carolina. That was a long trip. And we get those every once in a while if you're in the right place, or if they had some special deal going, like on the holiday weekends, they used to ask for volunteers. If you want to work this weekend, we got some good freight. And I was a little bit somewhat younger back then. I didn't really care. I said, okay, let's do it. Yeah. So these are trucks. When I first started with Epes, their trucks ran, I think they were set at 68 or something like that. Man, we were flying then, because Bill's transport trucks were 60 or 62, real low. I got over at Epes Transport, a 60-mile-an-hour truck, and I thought I was doing something. I said, yeah, let's go, super trucker. But they ended up turning them down, I think, to 65. Something happened. I don't know what all happened. They said it was a insurance company complaining about something. Who knows? And I don't know why. They had a lease purchase program over there, which wasn't a bad program at that time. So I looked into it a couple times, and I just said, I don't know, because I know I'll be running all that stuff I don't like. East Coast, I-95, constantly up and down 95. I hated it. I got to hate it. That's why I don't go up the Northeast to this day, because 12 years of doing that, man, that got old real quick. Old. So I think I was there after 10 years. You got 2 weeks paid vacation. And on my 12th year, I was home on my 2-week paid vacation. And I started looking around and asking around, and I'm just tired, man. I'm tired of the same stuff up East Coast, and getting a lot of college people in there don't really know anything about trucking, trying to run a trucking company, and it just, I don't know, it got crazy. So I said, about 2 weeks after last day of my 2-week vacation, I called in and told them that I was finished. I had something else in mind, and that was it. They said, are you sure? I said, well, we're going to miss you. You've been here 12 years. You've been a good driver and everything. I said, well, I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore, man. I got to do something different. So that is going to be the little teaser for part 3 of my trucking career story. So I hope you like this video and hope you like the series. Don't forget to watch part 1. It'll be coming up here beside me here in a minute. Click that on. Be sure you subscribe. Hit that bell icon. That way you'll be notified when part 3 comes out, or any other video I do, or whatever. And be sure to hit this subscribe button right here. Here it is, right here. I know I'm stuttering, but I'll be alright. So that's it. Everybody have a good one, and stay safe.